Imagine beginning a journey with no road, map, border sign, or cheerful voice telling you to make a legal U-turn. Ahead is a valley you have never crossed. Behind you are people who know every water source. Your navigation system is memory, landscape, and whether the animals seem concerned. Humans eventually reached almost every habitable region on Earth, crossing deserts, mountains, forests, coastlines, and open water. That achievement is often drawn as one clean arrow. The real story was messy. Repeated movements, failed expansions, returns, mixing, and routes later erased by rising seas. How did prehistoric humans travel the world without maps? They did not set out to circle the globe. Most movement was local, following food, water, seasons, relatives, and known shelters. Over many generations, connected local decisions became continental migration. Modern humans evolved in Africa, but Africa itself contained many environments and populations. Movement within the continent shaped adaptability long before lasting expansions elsewhere. Research increasingly emphasizes flexible use of forests, grasslands, coasts, highlands, and dry regions, rather than one perfect ancestral habitat. Climate repeatedly opened and closed corridors. Wetter phases filled rivers and lakes across areas that later became desert. Drier phases exposed coastlines and land bridges. A route available to grandparents might disappear for grandchildren, turning environmental knowledge into an urgent moving target. Water organized travel. Rivers provide drinking water, plants, animals, and a directional line, but they also flood and block movement. Coastlines offer predictable resources while demanding knowledge of tides and storms. Travelers followed useful edges, not abstract compass bearings. Landmarks were memory anchors. A distinctive ridge, dark rock, spring, tree line, or bend in a river could divide a journey into remembered sections. Directions might be carried through demonstration and story. Travel until the split hill, then keep the morning sun on one side. The sky helped too. Sun position gives direction and time. Stars and seasonal patterns repeat, though exact navigation systems cannot be assigned without cultural evidence. People living outdoors watched the sky continuously. Predictable celestial motion offered structure when ground routes became confusing. Animals carried information. Migrating herds indicated seasonal movement. Birds could suggest water or coast. Tracks revealed recent traffic. Following animals was not effortless. Prey can move faster and toward dangerous terrain. Still, animal behavior made invisible resources easier to locate. Plants served as local maps. Certain species cluster around moisture, soil, or elevation. Flowering and fruiting signal season. A knowledgeable traveler did not see generic green scenery. They saw clues about water, food, shelter materials, and whether the landscape was behaving normally. Knowledge rarely belonged to one explorer. Groups exchanged materials, partners, and information across social networks. A stone from far away may indicate travel or trade through several hands. Social connection extended the known world beyond the distance one person had walked. Marriage and kinship could link groups separated by large territories. Visiting relatives created safe destinations and updated route knowledge. Travelers carried news, tools, and stories. A social map can be as important as a geographic one because it tells you where arrival will not begin with thrown stones. Mobility required packing discipline. Everything carried costs energy. Tools needed to be versatile. Bedding rolled compactly. Fire-making materials stayed dry. Food and water were balanced against speed. The prehistoric suitcase was a body, a sling, and the judgment to leave unnecessary objects behind. Children and injured people changed pace. A group could not travel at the speed of its strongest hunter. Carrying, rest stops, and route choice were social decisions. Migration was therefore not a line of heroic adults striding across a map. It was a moving household. Known shelters reduced risk. People returned to rock shelters, water points, and seasonal camps. Familiar places stored information even when they stored few objects. Which wall leaked, where smoke escaped, and what appeared in spring could make an old campsite more valuable than a new one. Unknown terrain demanded scouting. A small party could inspect water, crossings, and animal signs before the entire group moved. Scouting also risked separation. Signals, agreed return times, and visible landmarks helped prevent two sensible plans from becoming two permanently different populations. Mountains were barriers and guides. Passes concentrate movement. Valleys provide gradual routes. High ground offers views but exposes bodies to wind and cold. People learned when snow, fog, or seasonal water made a pass useful, impossible, or likely to turn travelers into archaeology. Deserts were not always empty and not always deserts. Wet phases created chains of lakes and grasslands. During dry intervals, springs and river corridors became critical. Crossing depended on timing, water knowledge, and the willingness to turn back before hope became the only remaining resource. Coastal routes offered rich food but left poor archaeological visibility because Ice Age sea levels were lower. Many old shorelines now lie underwater. This missing landscape makes debates about southern dispersal difficult. Absence of a coastal campsite on today's beach may simply mean the beach moved. Open water crossings were unavoidable for reaching places such as Sahul, the Ice Age landmass containing Australia and New Guinea. Even with lower sea levels, channels remained. People must have used watercraft or flotation and planned crossings, although the vessels themselves rarely survived. That does not require a modern ship. Bundled reeds, logs, bark, or simple craft can move people and supplies under favorable conditions. The real technological achievement included reading currents, weather, and landing points. A vessel is only useful if it reaches somewhere people can live. Ancient DNA now reveals migrations invisible to tools alone. Genomes show population splits, mixing, and replacement across time. They also complicate simple stories. A region can receive several movements, and cultural objects can travel without large numbers of people moving with them. The peopling of the Americas illustrates that complexity. Ancient genomic and archaeological evidence supports movement from Northeast Asia into the Americas, followed by rapid dispersal and regional histories. Exact routes and timing continue to be refined as coastal, inland, and genetic evidence improves. Migration also included failure. Some groups entered new regions and left few or no living descendants. Climate shifted, populations remained small, or contact absorbed them into others. A footprint beyond the familiar world did not guarantee a permanent settlement. Successful travel depended on generalist behavior. Humans could change food, tools, and shelter instead of waiting for one preferred ecosystem. Flexibility was not knowing everything. It was recognizing when old knowledge no longer fit and learning quickly enough to stay alive. Picture a group preparing to leave a drying valley. An elder reviews water places with a younger scout. Food is divided. A child rides in a sling. Embers are protected. The route follows a river toward a ridge known through another group's stories. Days later, a side stream has vanished. Tracks point toward higher ground. The group changes course. This small correction will never appear as an arrow in a documentary map, yet continental movement was built from thousands of such decisions. No one needs to announce that they are migrating humanity. They are finding water, visiting kin, avoiding conflict, or following animals. Children grow along the route. Some settle farther away. Their children inherit a new center and an old story about where the group came from. The world was crossed by memory carried in people, not symbols printed on paper. Landscapes, skies, animals, plants, and relationships formed a living navigation system. It could fail, but it also updated whenever travelers returned with new information. So how did prehistoric humans travel the world? One familiar landmark at a time, supported by flexible tools, shared knowledge, and social connections. The journeys became global only when seen from far in the future. To the people walking them, each step solved tomorrow.